Scottie kind of just like Scottie's his own thing, right? And maybe we can get to that because I thought that is just the most fun part about watching Raptors games is when Scottie decides, I'm the man. I got this. Yeah, that's Jakob Poeltl. Who's the biggest guy on the Spurs? Oh, Jakob Poeltl. Okay, let me just seek him out. Start of the third quarter, cross him up a few times, spin, floater with the left hand, bank it off the glass, finish. So it's like, oh, that's your best defender. That's your biggest defender. Well, if I can score on him, I can score on everybody else on that team. And that's kind of the mode that Scottie was in this whole second half. I thought he was awesome. I give him the first star on the Reaction podcast, and I think he deserves it. I think when he chooses to take over, he actually, for a young guy, really does have that ability, and that's really impressive. You don't see a lot of young guys with the ability to control the game like that, but Scottie did that last night.
Yeah, and especially for a team that's like so starved for offense all the time. Like we've talked about their three-point shooting. We've talked about all the droughts that they go on every game. Scottie yesterday, I think, he had 2 field goal attempts in the first half. And then with the Raptors trailing by double digits, looking like the game was going to slip away early there in the third, he really took control of the game, finished with 20 points, 8 of 12 shooting, 8 assists in 34 minutes. You mentioned, because I know you love listing the bags of these different players, starting with Malachi Flynn on Media Day.
Okay.
Tell me about Scottie's bag, because when I look at him in the post, right, it's not just he's going to 1 or 2 primary moves. Like you mentioned, he's using both hands. I think he gets really creative down there. And the most impressive thing too, we've talked about how strong he is. He's usually able to just outmuscle these guys and get his own rebound too. So many of these opportunities, he's creating more than one just for himself. I know we've talked about this a lot, but man, how advanced can Scottie's game get? Even heading into say next season, because it feels like there's so much there already.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the bases and the tools are really there. It's sort of obviously if he can get the jumper going, that will really, really help. And we've seen that kind of come and go at the start of the year. He was really making a lot of those mid-range pull-ups. Nowadays, you don't see those as much. You saw for a stretch of the season, he was hitting a lot of catch-and-shoot threes. You're not seeing those as much, but I think primarily his bread and butter is going to be this ability to get downhill, because Nick actually gave a really good quote about this in the postgame, because a lot of the focus of the questions postgame was about Scottie and his ability to score. And I think Aaron Rose of SI asked Nick about, why is Scottie able to sort of score so consistently, even against bigger guys in the post? And the answer Nick gave was really clever. He said, it's not easy to guard Scottie, even just beyond the fact that he's strong, beyond the fact that he's got these long arms, beyond the fact he's got good touch. Guys aren't blocking his shot when he drives down there because he changes his release point a lot. He'll have herky-jerky moments where you can't fully anticipate which moments he's going to go up for the shot, right? So you'll see him go a little early. You'll see him go a little late. You'll see him go through guys. You'll see him put it off the glass. You'll see him go up with the left quite a bit for a guy who's right-handed. He loves to go with the left hand, and obviously he can finish with the right as well. That's his preferred hand, but I think there's just a lot of craft in sort of what he does. And I think for me, the other thing that's really clever about Scottie is, for a wing guy, he doesn't actually have to jump all that much to get his shot off. He really does a lot of these little hook shots where he's only maybe he's either even standing on the ground with both feet, or maybe just a slight jump off into the air. He doesn't really have to really separate to create that to get that shot. And I think the combination of that is just he can really drive it and drive it and drive it. And I think for him, it's just, can you manage your intensity? Can you manage your energy so you can do it over a consistent period? Because the other thing that stood out to me was, okay, so he was balling for that third quarter, right? He had 5 baskets, got fouled at the rim another time. So 12 points right there for Scottie. But then with 4 minutes left in the third quarter, he was pointing to the bench I need a breather, And so can you get that in a more sustained fashion? Because you'll see this for a quarter, maybe a quarter and a half at a time. Can you see it just more often? And whether that's the team calling more plays for him, that's one thing. But I think mostly it just comes down to Scottie taking his moment and realizing that, look, I know there's talented guys on the team, but he has as much of an ability to create a good shot against a half-court defense as a lot of these other guys. And that's really impressive to me. But that's where he is as a rookie. What did Fred say after the game? He called him a star, and it's our job to help him. It's not the whole team has to service Scottie above all else. But when he's going like that, you saw Pascal. He wasn't really involved in the offense that much in the second half. Doesn't need to, because Scottie was doing it, right. And Fred, obviously, was carrying them in the first half, 21 points. Only had 5 the rest of the way. Didn't need to. The rest of the team was sort of stepping up, and I think that's where you look at the Raptors. This is not a team that has one clear-cut star. This is a team that needs to play together as a group, have multiple guys who can create. And that's what we saw yesterday. A really nice team win by the Raptors. And thank God, because, again, these days we're getting a little dark. I'm just saying.
No, we're coming out of the darkness, man. And you know what we need to do as the weather gets better and we can go back to the park to work on the 2022 Raptors Republic 3-on-3 tournament.
Trying to get 8 points this time, not 6.
You like to operate in the low post as well, and I feel like maybe you should study some of Scottie's tape, and maybe we can see some of those moves at the tournament. Because I know you like to settle for that little elbow jumper, a little Tim Duncan type action. But I want to see you down there. You know, the lefty floater, maybe like mix up your bag a little. So let's make that a goal for this summer.
Yeah, that's not a bag for me. For me, it's that drawstring bag. You know, the ones that you get.
No, you're in your fanny pack.
Yeah,
when you punt the ball and get 6 points.
Yeah, it's one of those like tiny Louis bags that only holds like AirPods or something.
Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. High fashion Lou.
That's me.
So I guess the other question is, so we know that, when Scottie set a career high, I think it was last week. I can't keep track of time now. Like Nick famously said that, hey, we didn't even run any plays for him, right, in the game. And, you look at the way that he was able to score in the third quarter, and we've seen glimpses of this taking over. And you talk about like wanting to establish more of an order, especially on the offensive end. Like, should there be more of an emphasis on getting Scottie the ball? And if so, like, is that more on the coaching staff, or is that more of really just pushing Scottie to maybe not be so passive during these first halves or during the periods when you don't see him on offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of both. But I think it's more on Scottie than it is on the coaching staff, to be honest. I think, again, the nature of the Raptors offense is that, like, there are certain guys who will get the ball to initiate because, they're the point guard like Fred or Pascal is going to get the ball quite a bit, right? But, like, other than that, guys kind of just, like, the ball's going to swing around. They do a lot of these dribble handoff actions. They pitch it back and forth, especially when they cross half court and the transition opportunity isn't fully there. Like, there's lots of opportunities for guys to grab it and go. It's not like Scottie doesn't have the ball for a lot of the game. He just like is much more pass oriented in certain aspects of the game, and that's fine. Like, I think I don't need him to like dominate the ball and never pass. I don't think we need that on the team, but I think that it's really just about finding the ability or finding the spots where he can go to it. And quite frankly, he should know that like, it's not even the rest of his teammates aren't that much better than him, but it's just like he has that ability right now. He has a rare gift where he can just like drive into, like, even when on his drives, right? Pascal, I think, is like clearly the best driver on the team in terms of scoring, right? But like Pascal does it with the skill moves, with the quickness, with the spins and all this other stuff. Like Scottie, like he obviously has skill too, but it's just like he can bang into a guy and just flip it up too, And I think that that's something that the other guys don't fully have. So it's really up to Scottie to pick his spots. And I think my question is just like, look, when OG comes back, and the reports are probably like he's like, what, a week away or something like that? Like, when he comes back and you have your starting five again, you got Gary, who's taking a lot of shots. You got OG, who's taking a lot of shots. You got Scottie in that arrangement along with Fred and Pascal. He essentially fades into being a fifth option role. Then you get quotes like Nick being like, oh, yeah, he's playing the Marcus All role. I'm sorry, but listen, I don't want to play in the Marcus All role anymore. I actually want to see him score. Like, let him for like 5 minutes again play the Kawhi role. Like I think it might be ahead of him right now based on his abilities, but that's what this team's ceiling is going to be in the long term, is how good Scottie can get as a creator. And we're already seeing flashes as a rookie that he can really come to dominate games. We've seen that consistently since the All-Star break. His scoring's way up. He's like up to like 18, 19 points. He won the Rookie of the Month, and yeah, I mean, I think he's showing you what is in his bag. His bag is deep.